All right, a little bit about myself is the first question. My name is Chris Merritt. I was in the military for about 9 years. I was in the National Guard and deployed twice to Iraq. Um, that's about it, really. I never really had the intention of staying in the military, but needed to pay for college, so that's why I joined. Is that sufficient? Yeah. How old was I when I joined the Army? I was 19. It was 2003 when I joined. When did you realize that you have PTSD? Well, not everybody gets it, but for me it was probably 3 months or so after I got back. So when you first get home, um, everything's sort of like heaven. You really appreciate everything you have and kind of living a blissful life. And then as things start to normalize, you kind of start to see any issues you have crop up. So it was about 3 months in, once I returned. What were the challenges? Panic attacks were a big thing without reason, or like the classic, like if there's a loud boom on the bus or something because you hit a pothole or whatever, you just kind of freak out and start sweating, and then people notice that, and then you kind of get in your own head, and it gets worse that way. The other side too is I think there's just some like almost subconscious avoidance where you're just trying to not think about that stuff, and you're almost suppressing it to the point of finding unhealthy ways to cope. For me, that was a lot of drinking. How did people treat you? I mean, people are pretty understanding, but also I don't think people really know how to deal with it. So when they find out, the attitude changes. They almost become like worried about upsetting you. Or there were a few people who I think probably thought I was going to go crazy and like start stabbing people or something, you know. Yeah, but overall, I mean, people are supportive for sure. Did you seek help? No, I did not. I'm a very independent person, and also being military, I'm, kind of like man's man, I guess. And I didn't feel like I was going to lose to it, so I just kind of figured with time it would go away, and so I just basically self-medicated with alcohol until I started to get to a point where I could actually deal with it. Not the healthiest way of addressing it, but again, I never felt like it was going to sink me, so I never really sought help. The other part of that, too, is there's a stigma with having been treated for PTSD, so that was definitely a factor in terms of not wanting to have medical records showing, therapy or whatever for this traumatic experience. Are you cured? Yeah, took a while, probably 5 or 6 years until I really got comfortable with it. But yeah, over time. I mean, I always say PTSD is like every other kind of wound. Over time it heals, it gets better. Might never go fully away, but in my case I think it did. I mean, it's like a bad breakup, right? Hurts really bad at first, but the longer you wait, the more comfortable you become with it, you sort of reinvent yourself. So, and those are your 7 questions.